Welcome back to Africa Unveiled Journey. Today we're taking you on a journey through Egypt. Not just the Egypt you've read about in history books, but the Egypt that's alive and breathing today. The festivals, traditions, and everyday life that still thrive in the shadows of ancient monuments. Stick around for a few surprises. We've even got some fascinating wildlife to share with you. Let's dive right in. When we think about Egypt, the pyramids and pharaohs immediately come to mind. But what's truly fascinating is how these ancient wonders are more than just relics. They're intertwined with modern Egyptian culture. You'll find echoes of ancient Egypt not just in the temples and monuments, but in the very fabric of daily life. Let's start with the concept of maat, an ancient Egyptian principle of truth, balance, and order. This isn't just a mystical idea. It's a guiding force in how many Egyptians live their lives today. You see it in how families interact, how communities support each other, and even in how the Egyptian government structures its society. Despite being an ancient belief system, it's still very much a part of the country's modern consciousness. Take a look at Cairo, the capital and the beating heart of modern Egypt. It's a bustling metropolis where the ancient and modern exist side by side. Families gather around communal meals, children learn stories that have been passed down for generations, and the daily rhythm of life echoes the same patterns set thousands of years ago. Now let's shift gears and talk about Egypt's vibrant festival culture. Festivals in Egypt are a big deal, and they are as diverse as the culture itself. One festival that captures the essence of Egypt's ancient roots is Sham El-Nessim. Celebrated since the time of the pharaohs, Sham El-Nessim marks the arrival of spring. The name literally means sniffing the breeze, and it's all about reconnecting with nature. Families pack up food and head to parks or the banks of the Nile for a picnic. The air is filled with laughter, the scent of fresh food, and the sounds of children playing. Speaking of nature, did you know that Egypt is home to some fascinating wildlife? The wildlife of Egypt is as diverse as its festivals. Let's take a moment to explore the creatures that roam Egypt's deserts, rivers, and mountains. Camels, of course, are iconic. They've been a part of Egyptian life for centuries, transporting goods and people across the vast deserts. But there's more to Egypt's wildlife than camels. The desert fox, also known as the fennec fox, thrives in Egypt's deserts. These little creatures are fast and agile, adapted perfectly to the harsh environment. Let's not forget the Nile River, the lifeline of Egypt. It's been central to Egyptian life for thousands of years, shaping not just the landscape, but the culture. The ancient Egyptians believed the Nile was a gift from the gods, and it still holds that revered status today. Today, the Nile is still vital for everyday life. Farmers rely on its waters to cultivate crops, while tourists float down the river on luxurious cruises, taking in the same views that pharaohs once saw. Fishing is another important part of life along the Nile. Fresh fish are often served in Egyptian households, especially during festivals like Ramadan. And speaking of Ramadan is the most significant month for Egypt's Muslim population. It's a time of fasting, prayer, and reflection, but it's also a time of celebration. At sunset, families gather for iftar, the meal that breaks the fast. The streets come alive at night as people eat, pray, and share stories. And let's not forget the traditional fennec, or lanterns that light up the streets and homes. These lanterns are more than just decorations, they're symbols of hope and unity. Back to animals, because in rural parts of Egypt, animals are more than just a part of the landscape, they're part of the family. In villages along the Nile, you'll find animals playing crucial roles in daily life. Goats, chickens, and donkeys are common sights, often helping with farming and transportation. Did you know the Nile is home to some impressive creatures? The Nile crocodile is one of the largest reptiles in the world, and while you might not spot one near Cairo, they thrive further south. Then there's the sacred ibis, an elegant bird that was once revered by the ancient Egyptians as a symbol of wisdom. No exploration of Egyptian culture would be complete without talking about music and dance. Music is at the heart of Egyptian celebrations and festivals, and it's a huge part of daily life too. Traditional Egyptian instruments like the oud and tabla are used in everything from folk songs to modern pop. One of the most captivating dance forms in Egypt is the tanura, a Sufi-inspired dance where performers spin in long, colorful skirts. The movements are said to symbolize the connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. Let's take a look at what everyday life looks like in modern Egypt. For most Egyptians, daily life is a blend of tradition and modernity. In the cities, you'll find people working in industries like tourism, tech, and education. While in the villages, traditional practices like farming are still strong. Egyptians are incredibly community-oriented. You'll often see people gathered in cafes, playing dominoes or drinking tea. And despite the hustle and bustle of the cities, there's a strong sense of relaxation and togetherness. So, whether you're visiting Egypt for its historical treasures or to experience its rich modern culture, one thing is for sure. Egypt is a place where the past and present come together in a beautiful dance of tradition, festivals, and everyday life. And if you're a nature lover, don't forget to explore the incredible wildlife that's just as much a part of Egypt's story. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Egyptian culture. If you want to learn more about Egypt, Africa, and all the incredible experiences this continent has to offer, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow Africa Unveiled Journey. We've got plenty more adventures coming your way.